The Detroit Lions versus the San Francisco 49ers. Who's going to be out and who's going to win? Let's discuss it. All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Motown Sports Talk podcast. I am your host, Jordan, and the NFL season is finally underway. We had the 2020 NFL champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, take on the Dallas Cowboys last night, and it was actually a really close game. Everyone thought the Bucs were just going to run away with it, but Cowboys actually made it a very interesting game, took the lead with 1 point, with I think a minute 22 seconds left, and Tom Brady did what he does best, which is kind of reminiscent of old Matthew Stafford, to just driving his team down the field to get a field goal and win by 2 points. Now that we have the season is underway, let's talk about the game that I will be paying the most attention to this weekend. The Detroit Lions versus San Francisco 49ers. But before I get into that, don't forget to like this video and also subscribe if you do enjoy my content to make sure you keep up to date with all of the Motown Sports Talk videos. So let's get into it. First year, head coach Dan Campbell will be leading his team into what will also be the home opener for the Lions. This is a very interesting matchup and tends to heavily favor the 49ers for obvious reasons. I mean, a lot of people do have the 49ers making the Super Bowl this year for the NFC. They do have studs all across the board, such as Jimmy G, Nick Bosa, George Kittle, all of whom are at the top of the list at their positions, but they're also all returning from significant injuries, and we've yet to see how they'll actually play because they barely played, if at all, throughout the preseason. So speaking of injuries, let's jump into that real quick. We'll look at the injury reports for both teams. And early on Friday, so they haven't released the injury reports for Friday yet, but looking at the Lions injury report first, we do have a couple of interesting developments over the last couple of days. DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson, who have barely played and participated throughout training camp, are both full participants according to the reports this week, so that is a good sign that they're both trending. And it's also come out that DeAndre Swift will not have limit restrictions. He's going to be full go and be able to play as many downs as he can this weekend. But then if we go ahead and look at the top of the list, we have our top offensive lineman, Taylor Decker, who's been downgraded in the middle of the week with a hand injury. And anyone who's ever followed the NFL or injury reports knows that pretty much if you start limited and go down from there, on a Thursday or Friday, it's almost obvious that they're not going to be playing. The only way they play is if they stay limited all week, or obviously they move to full practice on Friday. And also, speaking of Taylor Decker, Dan Campbell did say this morning that it might be a serious injury, and it's possible that he could need surgery. Surgery's not off the table, but nothing's confirmed yet. It is pretty much obvious he will be out for the season's opener, though. And as of right now, they haven't confirmed moves. They are talking about moving Penei Sewell over to left tackle and putting Matt Nelson at right guard, or swapping them, having them play, or even putting Logan Steinberg in at right guard and then moving Vaitai over to right tackle, and then again Sewell over to left tackle. There's a lot of options. We're going to have to wait and see what they actually do this week, and I don't think they really want to confirm anything to kind of keep it, to make the 49ers guessing. They don't want to give anything out too early. But also on the list, we have Nick Williams, Michael Brockers, and Levi Onwuzurike. I'm sure I butchered that name, and I apologize. But yes, Nick Williams is dealing with a shoulder injury. He's again been limited both Wednesday and Thursday, so we'll see how it is on Friday as of today, as well as Michael Brockers, the defensive end we traded for from the LA Rams, is also dealing with a shoulder injury, so we will see about their status for this weekend. Excuse me. Now looking at the 49ers, they still have a few significant players on their list, but they are trending in the right direction. Players such as Nick Bosa, D Ford, Jason Verrett, Brandon Ayuk are all full participants as of right now, but then we still have players like Javon Kinlaw and Emmanuel Mosley who have been non-participants through practice so far this week. And we also have Trey Lance, who has been limited with a finger injury, and earlier in the offseason, Kyle Shanahan did state that he wants to use a dual quarterback system, sort of the way they did in New Orleans with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill. So we will see if Trey Lance will even start this weekend. Dan Campbell has stated that they will be ready for both quarterbacks no matter what. So that'll be interesting to see. So with all these injuries and question marks surrounding both teams, who's going to win on Sunday? Well, that's a lot easier said than it is done. If we look at the sports books, which is a good, obviously, indicator of who they think is going to win, it's no surprise that they all have the 49ers as very heavy favorites. I think at this moment they are 7.5-point favorites. We have people like the Tampa Bay Bucks last night who were 10-point favorites and still almost lost. And if it were not for Brady driving down the field with 1 minute and 22 seconds left. Now, I've stated all offseason that if we can just protect Jared Goff and have a steady, decent run game, that we will be able to be competitive and compete with some of these teams. But with this Decker news and this kind of random DeAndre Swift rumor that's flying around, and I don't really want to elaborate it until it's either confirmed or denied, I don't know how this game's going to play out for both sides. Like I said, we have the 49ers, who most of their best players are coming off significant injuries, ACL injuries, George Kittle with a foot injury. So again, we have to wait and see how they're going to perform. It's assuming they're going to be right back at their top positions. But again, this is their first game since they haven't really played in the offseason. So again, we're going to have to see how they play. And then same thing with the Lions. We have basically completely revamped our team from top to bottom, from the GM to the organization to the head coach and all the coaching standpoints. Again, we have a completely new offense. Only a few people returning, such as Swift, Hawkinson, Decker, Ragnow. I really want to see how it plays out. I want to see how the play calling is with Dan Campbell. I want to see how Jared Goff looks when he's under pressure. I want to see how Swift looks in his sophomore years. How much pressure can the D-line get on Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance, and just can we stop the run? Those are all things that I really want to see, because again, this is like the first time. Obviously, we've changed GMs and coaches and players every year, but it's like this feels like the first time that it's just completely from top to bottom. It's like a whole new team. So there's just so many question marks, and I really just want to see how it goes. But if someone was holding a gun to my head and made me pick a winner, I would just have to go with the 49ers. Again, just because there's so much uncertainty around our team, and there is with San Francisco as well, but they at least have a little bit of continuity. They have the same head coach, same quarterback. The players that are returning from injury have all been there for a few years, so the core of the team is still there. But obviously, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we come out swinging. I hope we're in sync, and I hope we come out and prove the whole world wrong, because I know we are pretty much ranked at either the bottom or second to the bottom in almost all major media power rankings. We are either 30, 31st, or 32nd, somewhere right around there. So it sucks, but all right. Well, what are your guys' predictions for the game this weekend? What do you think's going to happen? Who do you think's going to win? And do you think that the Lions will just look competitive, or do you think it's going to be a blowout? Either way, let me know down in the comments below. Also, like I said earlier, if you do enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to make sure you keep up with all of our upcoming videos, as I'm going to have a lot more coming out here soon. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.